Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brannon. Welcome to my final weather briefing for aviation meteorology. As always, we'll be starting off with our current national conditions across the United States. Starting off with the surface analysis chart, we'll look towards one of the west coast first. As we can see, there's a low pressure system with a trough in the Washington state, as well as a high pressure system in southern Oregon and northeastern California. We do have another trough and a low pressure system towards southern California. Other than that, most of the country has high pressure systems, besides that in northern Texas, which also is accompanied by a stationary front. We do have a cold front moving down to North Dakota to the south, which explains why we have that cold temperatures today of a low of 50 and high of 75. We do have another cold front stretching from central Canada there all the way down to Oklahoma when it transitions until it transitions to that stationary front, and that's moving to the southeast there. So next up we have our visible satellite image, and there's a few clouds across the country. You can see a large portion of the clouds are there in the southeast, and there's expanded upward north up until Michigan. And a lot of these clouds are associated with precipitation and some convective activity. We can also see some clouds there a little bit to the west, up near Idaho and Wyoming and Montana. And we have some light precipitation moving in the area from there, as well as we have some more clouds over there to the central U.S., which has some moderate precipitation. But other than that, the country's looking pretty good. More towards the west coast, looking more nice than the east coast. So next up we have our convective outlook chart. As you can see, a large portion of the country is under general thunder forecasts. However, the Midwest, as we are up in Minnesota, there's nothing forecasted. Neither is there in Texas or California or the Northwest. There is a slight chance for severe weather over there in Nebraska, Wyoming, and South Dakota, as well as a marginal chance stretching west up to Nevada and Oregon. And we do have a marginal chance as well up in Arkansas and Missouri, Nebraska, and Oklahoma, as well as towards the Michigan and New York area. And so here's our freezing level chart for the United States. As you can see, most of it is between the 15,000 and 17,000 range. However, California, you can see the freezing level is above 17,000. And you can see in the Northwest as well, towards Oregon and Northern California, freezing level does drop down to 13,000 to 15,000. As well as the North Dakota area, actually where we are is 9,000 to 11,000 because of that cold front moving in there. And south of us, towards the Iowa and southern Minnesota area, you see the freezing levels between 13,000 to 15,000. As well as Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Maine sections of the United States. Alright, so now we're looking at our local current conditions here in Grand Forks. So looking at this visible satellite image, you can see there aren't many clouds around us today. We do have a few to the west, towards the western border of North Dakota and Montana. As we have some to the southeast of us, but other than that, there's really nothing going on. Besides that, in northern Minnesota, we have some clouds moving in. Okay, in terms of precipitation, we can't see any on this radar in our area. However, there is some down there towards Wyoming, towards the northern stretch of Wyoming, and the moving towards the western border of Wyoming, of South Dakota, and Nebraska. So next up is our national forecasting conditions. Alright, so this is a low-level prog chart. We'll pay attention to the right one as this is the furthest one out. And we can see a large portion of the eastern seaboard and southeast is under marginal VFR conditions. So some IFR conditions there in Northern Carolina, Virginia, Maine, as well as Georgia and Alabama. We have some marginal VFR conditions as well in Wyoming, Nebraska, and South Dakota, as well as Colorado. And towards the west coast, looking pretty good, except some marginal VFR and IFR conditions over there towards the western coast. Okay, so here's our convective outlook chart for tomorrow, starting at 7 a.m., and that's valid until Wednesday, 7 a.m. We can see the chance of severe weather that has decreased from today's convective outlook chart. We are still in the clear there, but looks like a large portion of the country is going to be under that general thunder forecast towards the central part. And we do have some marginal risk for severe weather up in the northeast as well as the central U.S. towards Nebraska and Kansas. Last, we'll be looking at our local forecasting conditions for the area of North Dakota. Okay, so I'll start off with the terminal area forecasts, and it's looking pretty good. We do have some scattered clouds coming in at 6,000 around 12 o'clock today, and looks like 9 o'clock tonight. We'll have a few clouds at 5,000, about scattered at 25,000. With visibility, looks like holding at 6 statute miles throughout the day. The winds will get fairly moderate today. It's gusting 17 knots at noon, but still coming out of the north, as we can see. Okay, so here's our winds and loft forecast, which is valid from 1 a.m. until 1 p.m. for tomorrow. So we can see at Grand Forks, winds will be light and variable there at 3,000, and at 6,000, they'll be around coming out of the northwest at 12 knots, and 9,000 coming out of the northwest at 19 knots. We can also take a look at Alexandria, is that south of Fargo, fairly close to us. Light and variable again, 3,000 at 6,000. Looks like coming out of the west-northwest at 21 knots, and up to 9,000. Looks like coming out of the northwest at 29 knots. So, for our last step, we'll be taking a look at the graphical forecast for aviation, and this will be 7 in Zulu tomorrow, which is 2 a.m. tomorrow, which is the furthest it'll let me go. We can see throughout most of the state, winds are going to be at 5 knots, so they're fairly light. The sky would be clear, however we could have some few clouds in Grand Forks, and looks like the winds for the northern part of North Dakota coming out of the north. However, once you transition to the western side as well as the southern parts, winds will look like they'll be coming out of the east there. So after looking at all these local conditions, forecast conditions, we can see that tomorrow's going to be a pretty good day. We'll have some fair weather throughout the evening. Winds will be light, a few clouds around here and there. But yeah, thank you for listening. Have a good day. Now, I did have a MEDAR and plot report slide, however, my voice wasn't picking up on it. So I'll just pull it up right here. So here's our plot reports. We had one reported at Fargo, around 11,000. They reported light to moderate turbulence. That was around 11:28 this morning. We also had some moderate turbulence reported over Bemidji at 600 Zulu. And looking at our MEDARs next, we see winds started coming out of the northwest this morning. However, it transitioned into the north primarily, pretty moderate, peaking at 10 knots here in the past 5 hours. Visibility is held constant at 10 miles, and we did have a few clouds this morning at 8 and 9,000. However, that transitioned to scattered at 10,000. Temperature, it won't get too high today, but it was increasing. Last report at 20 degrees Celsius, and dew point holding around 11 degrees Celsius. But yeah, that's more weather briefing. Sorry for the slides not working, but there's my MEDAR and power reports. Thanks.